Hi guys, this is Yi from Dove Computer Solutions with a video showing the web configurator on the ZyXEL SBG3600-N wireless end fiber small business gateway. Let's dive straight into it. Open your favorite web browser and type in the default IP address of the router 192.168.1.1. The default login username is admin and the password is 1234. On your first login, it will ask you to change the default password to a new secure password. Once you've logged back in with the new password, you will be welcomed with the ZyXEL status screen. From the status screen, you can see at a glance information like the device info showing things like the WAN, LAN and wireless details. You'll also see the system status showing the system uptime, CPU usage, memory usage, the WAN status showing all the different WAN connections, service status, IPsec VPN status, and also the LTE 4G information if you have that set up. If we go back to the status window, on the left hand column you will see the feature rich menu options that come with the top of the range ZyXEL SBG3600-N router. The main headings consist of network setting, which include broadband, wireless, LAN, QoS, security, which has firewall, MAC filters, user access control, VPN, which comprises of IPsec, PPTP, L2TP VPN, system monitor, logs, network status, and maintenance, which has email notifications, log settings, etc. So if we dive into the broadband subheading under network setting, you'll see that this is where we will find the main broadband configuration window. So at a glance you can see the WAN interfaces that are being used or can be modified or deleted, and by default you have ADSL, VDSL for fiber, and a third WAN, and that could be 3G, the built-in LTD, 4G, or a separate WAN connection. So under the WAN configuration edit, as you can see, there's lots of options to choose and add to. The second tab shows the 3G WAN settings. Whenever the WAN connection is down, an internet connection can be maintained through a properly configured 3G dongle. So from here you can set up things like the username, password, PIN. The budget setup allows you to enable a budget control through time budget or data budget, and even enable email notification if you're over budget. So it will send you an email to say you've run out of data on your plan. So there's a lot of flexibility here to maintain a 3G dongle connection. On the third tab there's the LTE WAN. So again, similar kind of settings are available to you, which include the budget setup as we mentioned earlier, and the enable email notification option as well. On the fourth tab, there's a supported 3G LTE USB dongle, where you can add information for 3G dongle below to support a new dongle if you have all that information to hand. In the advanced settings, there's the DSL bonding state or the DSL setup, which allows you to configure various options here. In the 802.1x tab, this allows you again authentication list options and to modify various settings. The Multi-WAN tab allows you to define load balance failover rules for the various WAN connections that you may have. Under the wireless network setting, this is where you can enable the wireless network setup. So you can disable, enable the Wi-Fi button, change the auto channel to a prefix one. You can change the SSID, number of maximum clients that can connect to that SSID, hide it, include a maximum upstream or downstream bandwidth. And there's a slider at the bottom which allows you to control the security level. So you can go from no security, basic, or more secure, which is the recommended option. Under the second wireless tab, More AP, the device can enable up to 4 wireless networks to work at the same time. So you can have different guest SSIDs depending on your network configuration or policy within your corporation or company wireless settings. And so you can easily set different security types, different levels. You can lock it down by MAC authentication. So particular devices can be locked down as well, depending on the SSID. The WPS again allows you 3 different methods where you can use push button configuration, register wireless client's PIN number, or enter the AP's PIN number in wireless client configuration. So again, lots of options to choose from. The Wmm tab has beneficial effects on delay sensitive applications over wireless connections such as VoIP and multimedia streaming. In the Others tab, the configurations below are the advanced wireless settings. The channel status allows you to scan wireless LAN channels to see which one is the optimum channel to use, or which one has been accessed by the most wireless access points or different Wi-Fi devices that use that particular channel. And then finally, under scheduling, You can set a schedule for when to turn off the wireless service for power saving purposes and also security purposes. So you can have a rule that you can turn on and off particular days and time ranges as well. If we go into the LAN network setting, again we have many options here showing the various LAN setups, static DHCP, UPnP, additional subnet, and even configure the fifth Ethernet port on the router. So the static DHCP, as you can see, we can add a new static lease or set up fixed IP for each of the LAN clients. The universal plug and play allows easy network connectivity. Additional subnets we can set up, or again we can enable or disable the fifth Ethernet port as a LAN port or a WAN port. So if we go into the routing network setting, we can add a new static route and choose a particular WAN interface. We can set up policy forwarding to overwrite the default routing options, again using any one of the WAN ports or connections. Again, we can activate RIP for the WAN interface and set that up. QoS is always useful for quality of service. It defines the traffic priority of internet services for VoIP as one example. Queue setup, class setup, policy setup, and monitor the QoS as well. If we go into the NAT network setting, we've got port forwarding, which is commonly used, of course, to add new rules. Again, we can choose the WAN interface to go to a particular IP address using particular ports. Applications, again, where we can add new applications to a particular WAN interface, whether that's games, consoles, particular gaming applications. Port triggering, where you can automate port forwarding with better security. Again, we can set up new rules for that. Then we've got default server tab, which is no longer behind the device and therefore can run any internet application. ALG, application level gateway, allows customized NAT transversal, and address mapping, again from one-to-one, one-to-many rules. DNS, we have DNS entry, so you can add a new DNS entry if you wanted to. Dynamic DNS if you didn't have a static IP address. And also we can set up a host name if we wanted to as well. AP control is how we can manage the access point that's connected to it. We can manage a range of access points connected, load balance that if we needed to between on the network, and also we can configure the dynamical radio channel selection of the manage access points through the controller. Under the AP profile, we've got tabs including radio, SSID, security, MAC filtering, and layer 2 isolation. The interface group VLAN allows us to set up VLAN groups within the network. The USB service can allow share files from the USB flash drive or USB hard drive that we attach to the USB port. We move on under security. We've got the firewall, where we can enable the firewall, disable it. DOS, so we can prevent DOS attacks. Service, where we represent a set of custom protocol rules that can be modified and edited. We also have access control tab, which allows us to set up a rule to accept, reject or drop packets. And finally we have zone control, where we can set up different firewall zones to establish security borders within the network itself. The MAC filter security settings enables MAC filtering and adding MAC addresses of the LAN clients on the network. The user access control limits the amount of time a particular user can be on the network and schedule it for particular days and times. We also have a scheduler rule, which allows you to use in conjunction with other configurations as well. And finally we have certificates under the security heading, where it can authenticate users using local or trusted certificates. Under VPN we have the 3 different VPN options: IPsec, PPTP and L2TP VPN protocols. So from here we can set up any of those 3 VPN protocols with different settings, encryption, authentication like pre-shared keys, etc. So under System Monitor we have Log, where you can see the system log files as well as the security log files, and there are many options in there and events that you can log and display. We have network status, which shows the WAN data that's been sent out and received. Also the LAN network status, again showing the sent and received packets, and the DHCP clients attached to the network. We have the ARP table, displaying the IP and MAC address of each DHCP client, the routing table, the IGMP group status, the XDSL statistics, the LTE statistics, and finally the AP monitor, the access point list, radio list and station list tabs. The final heading that we're looking at is the maintenance main heading, and from here you can see the My ZyXEL license status. You've got the user account, which lets you create and manage the user accounts on the device to log in, and using a radius if you wanted to. We can also set up remote management, depending on which service you want to enable, You've got the TR069 client, the SNMP, the time, which allows you to set up the correct time on the device using NTP time server if you wanted to. Email notification, if you wanted to send an email with notification for logs. Additional log settings. You have the firmware upgrade option for the current firmware as well as the WAN firmware update. You can update the LTE, back up and restore the configuration and back to factory defaults for the router itself. Let's do a system reboot and run basic diagnostics on the router and the actual wireless connectivity. There's also a quick start option where if you wanted to, you can go through a 4-step procedure to quickly set up the router, get onto the broadband, and also set up the wireless network SSID and password if need be. We really hope you enjoyed this video of the ZyXEL SBG3600-N enterprise level router, showing the web configurator, its features and settings available. As usual, please like, comment or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.